No, I'll tell you why. I'm an individualist as opposed to a collectivist. That's my politics. I believe in the freedom of the individual. And how I evaluate Brexit is very simple in lots of ways. What has it done for freedom of the individual? So I'd say leaving the EU, British citizens have lost loads of rights and privileges, right? So it's much harder to retire to anywhere in the EU. It's working there is much more difficult. Traveling there is much more difficult. You can only stay 180 days out of the year, for instance. And that would be one thing if on the other balance that there was a freedom of individual, there was freedoms given to individuals that sort of made up for that were greater than that. And yet I can't think of any freedoms that Brexit has given British individuals. I can't think of any. Compounding that, you have the fact that you've got all the red tape. We have all this protectionism now at the channel. And I think that that's made it harder, particularly for small businesses as opposed to large businesses. And I'm someone who thinks that the small business community is very important in Britain, and that's very critical. And the fact that
absolutely,
it's just
of course it is. But Matt, that's quite a gloomy picture there painted of post-Brexit.
Very gloomy, but we've heard it all before.
Take a different
I'm not very good at the speaking, am I? We've heard it all before, though, haven't we? We've heard all the doom and gloom before. Do you remember when it was all going on and they told us the sky would fall? They told us we'd face economic ruin, that we'd never get a deal with the EU. In fact, one Sir Keir Starmer spent all of his time telling us how big a problem it would be if we weren't in the EU Medicines Agency. And look at how that's worked. Actually, since we've left, we have, well, let's talk about that Medicines Agency. Because of our great British vaccine rollout, we've got those restrictions lifted. Not only have we saved lives, not only have we put ourselves in a better position to deal with coronavirus, we've opened our economy up. We're now the fastest growing economy in the G7. We've got kids back at school. We've got businesses booming. We've set up free trade deals with 70 different new free trade deals, including 2 fantastic deals, Australia and New Zealand. We're going for growth. We're making the most of that freedom. We're hooking up with the biggest and fastest growing economies in the world. We've taken control of our borders. We haven't quite nailed that yet, but we've done a damn good job in creating a fair but firm system that means no matter whether you're coming from an EU member state or elsewhere, if you're the brightest and the best and it's in our national interest, you can come aboard. All sorts going on. I think it's a very, you know what, we've heard from the pessimists before.
Wait, Matt, you can't actually say, though, that we've taken back control of immigration, can you? You could come over willy-nilly from Calais.
I think you've got a very valid point, but actually, because we have left, we're able to make those reforms to the Human Rights Act that mean we'll be able to make the difference on that border and handle the illegal immigration very differently to how we would have if we were still in the EU, because now we're a sovereign state who can make decisions and we've got to pull our finger out and deal with those border crossings quickly.